If my people Bible reading, part 106. We are in the book of Amos. Again, one of the minor prophets, which we will continue to say as you go through this. Wow, these minor prophets. I wish I had hoped that this would stop, but my generation and the generation before me and the generation before that and the generation before that, back in the 1870s on, were taught none of this. Now, before that, there was every indication that a lot of the Bible was taught, Old and New Testament. But the last two or three generations, you don't hear this in churches. This is once again the end of the age. This is once again incredible instructions from the Father to those who hear and obey him. He's not talking to anyone out there, the great majority of the world, who doesn't give a rip who he is. This Bible study is not for them. They're not going to sit down and read it. They don't have the patience. And Adonai knows his own people don't have much patience anymore either. If it's not a little cell phone in front of them, you're sitting there, you're looking at your walking around and talking to this all day, learning nothing of value, even if your stocks and bonds are on it. There's a warning about that in here in chapter 3, by the way, about all you people who have done so well and so blessed by Yahweh all these years financially. Oh boy, big warning for you. So here we go with Amos. By the way, we've gone through a number of the prophets. Start with Samuel. Samuel came from a line of priesthoods and so forth, and then we've talked to people who are just who were taught well, Obadiah, Joel, Jonah, and those of the land, and now here's a shepherd. So everybody has different gifts, but these particular people from all walks of life so far were all given these gifts, the gifts of discernment and to be told and talked directly by the Father to them. So, what an incredible situation that is. This was, Amos means, by the way, born by Yahweh. The date's about 755 BC. It's about 35 years before Assyrians took Israel, the people captive. So there's a big warning about what's happening, but this whole thing is really about now, right now until the second coming. And so, chapter 3. Hear this word Yahweh has spoken against you, O people of Israel, against the whole family I have brought up out of Egypt. Now, he's talking about the people that came out that he chose. He chose. So you mean God is prejudiced and he chooses people and the others he chooses not? Yeah, I would say the great majority of the people he will choose not. But here's what you need to learn for those of you who are shepherds. You're going to be disciplined. I'm going to be disciplined. If I call myself a teacher, I am going to be disciplined more than a student will be. Okay? And so are you. And so we are subject to correction. My brothers and sisters and others in the faith here who have written dozens and dozens and dozens of books and DVDs and go out there on the road and sell themselves for years and say certain things, the great majority of them do not repent when they realize that they said something wrong. If you say something wrong, you got to tell people about it. And those that you told before other things, you have to go and let them know. It's your responsibility. That's what a teacher does. As I've said in another broadcast at another time, the greatest compliment in the entire world is for a professor, a teacher, instructor in a college, a school, wherever, for a student to come back and one of your students that you started and they come back years later and thank you. That's one of the parables of Yeshua and healing people, how many came back and thanked him. Same situation. They come back and they go this. They tell you this, they tell you that, and you realize that student, who is now an instructor, knows more and does more and is more in the word than I am. What a blessing that is. How many times I've met people that have complained about some of their former students who are trying to outsmart them, and they're upset. About what? They should be thanking Yahweh. They had a little something to do with this other person who's younger than me that knows and is able to teach and able to instruct others better than I can. All right, just so there you go. So chapter 3, that kind of is what this is all about. Yahweh disciplines his own children first in the last days. He's going to discipline them and put them through hardships to test them like metal. And then there's going to be the gathering of the harvest, and the evildoers will suffer first. But they come second line because we're disciplined first. They suffer and are eliminated first. Then we are brought into the kingdom and our hearts are renewed. So there's like a process, and Yahweh lays it out in all his prophets. Here's another example. Hear the word Yahweh spoken against you, O people of Israel, against the whole family I brought up out of Egypt, against the whole family. You only have I chosen of all the families on the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your sins. Question. Did Yahweh indeed have a chosen people? Yeah, but all others have the ability to be grafted into that tree. So whether you're of the line of the Israel, the 12 tribes, including Judah, all others just like those that were grafted in the first Exodus. All right. We go down to verse 12 in chapter 3. This is what Yahweh says. As a shepherd saves from the lion's mouth only 2 leg bones or a piece of an ear, so will the Israelites be saved, those who sit in Samaria on the edge of their beds and in Damascus on their couches. Comment. A remnant is left, an ear to hear and 2 legs to run with. This is the prophetic statement with the understanding is keen to ears and legs. If you have an ear to ear and legs to run with, you should hear with an ear and obey with your legs. Run! A key to Bible understanding in this short verse. There it is. Hear this and testify against the house of Yaakov, declares Yahweh, Yahweh Elohim Almighty, El Shaddai. On the day I will punish Israel for her sins, I will destroy the altars of Bethel. The horns of the altar will be cut off and fall to the ground. I will tear down the winter house along with the summer house and the houses adorned with ivory. They will be destroyed and the mansions will be demolished, declares Yahweh. So all you people right now with your multiple homes, you may lose everything. If that's what it takes for Yahweh to have a conversation, a daily conversation with you, and that you are supposed to listen to him, read the word daily, and then Shabbat and follow the royal Torah. I'm not talking about the 613 laws. I'm talking about the royal Torah and the New Testament that we haven't gotten into yet, but there's 1,050 in there. Incredibly easy to understand because of the way Yeshua laid them out. Chapter 4, very interesting. Hear this word, you cows of Bashan, on Mount Samaria. You women who oppress the poor and crush the needy and say to your husbands, bring us some drinks. Comment. Today there exists a nation that is considered greedy, oppress the poor as a result. This is a nation that is considered one of the more obese. In other words, cow appearance. Obese. Big old fat people. More than any other nation on earth. Who do you think that is? That nation will be taken away in fish hooks. Verse 2. The Adonai Yahweh has sworn by his holiness, the time will surely come when you will be taken away with fish hooks, with hooks, the last of you with fish hooks. You will each go straight out through the breaks of the wall, and you will be cast out among Harmon, declares Yahweh. Yeah. Go to Bethel, verse 4, and sin. Go to Gilgal and sin. Bring your sacrifices every morning, your tithes every 3 years. You're following the rules, but you just keep on sinning. It's just going through a process, right? Burn unleavened bread as a thank offering and brag about your free will offerings. Boast about them, you Israelites, for this is what you love to do, declares Adonai Yahweh. Comment. Institutional churches that believe that they are no longer under the law have ignored the purpose of the appointed times, the royal Torah, the Shabbats. Many members belong to local, they got excuses because they do such great things with professional organizations, such as, let's mention them, just a few. The local churches, 30,000 denominations with 30,000 opinions. And they're there for what? Mostly entertainment, social, political, business purposes. And I didn't add this one in. I wrote the Bible, second edition. Entertainment, the bands. I don't know how many people, and I've said this before, I don't know how many people I've talked to that sing in churches and sound so holy, are as atheistic and God-hating as you could possibly imagine. Yet they tell you point blank because they're not liars. Well, I go to church because I like to sing. It's the only place I can sing. They're singing for you. Or are they? They're enjoying themselves. Many join groups that have animal names in them for title and use the same for social gathering and somewhat charity event causes. Somewhat. I use that lightly. Many of these groups, without knowing it, most of them without knowing it, I'll give an example I've done before, the Masons. My whole family is full of Masons, and the majority of them have no clue about anything other than the oath they took, which is satanic oath. Oh, wow. Yep, they take the satanic oath. Something about death if they don't do exactly what they're told by man-made doctrines and traditions of men. That's satanic. Sorry, folks. Um, and by the way, the Masons doing such good things, a lot of them are such wonderful, good people. A lot of law enforcement, a lot of firemen in it, a lot of government people in it. Yep, just heard one on the television the other day that's bragging about being years and years of becoming a member of the Knights of Columbus. Read about that organization. Read about the Jesuits, the power to kill people, and will be approved by the church. The Catholic Church approves that. What? Read your history books. There it is. And you actively join these organizations. Wow. Moose Lodge, anything with an animal name in it. The Odd Fellows, Jesuits I mentioned, Society of Jesus. Well, it's got to be good. It says Jesus in it. Societies that have secrets. We're not a secret society. We're just a society that has secrets. Are forbidden by the people of Yahweh to belong to. You do not belong to them. Now I told you, you don't belong. Now that you're not supposed to do Christmas, you don't do it anymore. Now that you play with Easter bunnies and call it Easter, you don't do that anymore. You don't do it. You just stop. Societies that keep financial viability by using liquor is their number one sales, liquor sales, to finance what they want to do. And then many of the people who call it tithe and the offering, they consider that as tithing and offering. So they don't have to give and help the poor because they pour all kinds of beer and alcohol down their throats at the local bar, and they consider that given to these secret societies. So it never ends. Verse 6 asks, pretty good statement. I gave you cleanliness of your teeth in all your cities and the want of bread in all your places, yet you have not returned to me, declares Yahweh. So that sounds like a good thing, somebody with clean teeth, right? People have asked me that. I said, no. A clean tooth is one that hasn't eaten. Therefore, this means that Yahweh permits starving. For some time they will know pestilence and famine. Pestilence and famine is the guarantee coming from the Father, not Satan, on the people. Who's the people? We the people. If we're mixed in the wheats and tares and we don't come out of her, my people, we don't come out of this evil world that we're living in, we're going to be right there in the midst of it. And yes, pestilence and famine is coming your way. You've been warned. You won't hear that in the local churches. Whoa! The prosperity preachers wouldn't dare say that. They have to actually get a job and do something, right? I'm not being very nice to these people because you can't. You can't sit there and coddle these kind of people. You've got to stop supporting this kind of thing. Yeah. And don't come sending any money to me. Oh, I don't have to worry about that. I haven't received a dime in my entire life for anything. And if I've given away hundreds of thousands, that's my business. Okay? And so I'm not sitting there peddling like so many people on YouTube, hoping for 100,000 hits so I get a check from YouTube. Boy, what a proud moment to go talk to Yahweh when I got that money. See ya.